on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:36 now. It's O'Connor and Company this Wednesday morning as the rain continues throughout the area. It'll dry up soon, though, as you just heard from Eileen Whalen. We're also getting reports from some of our listeners. William from Annapolis was just driving in, saw a huge light show there, lightning coming in across D.C. It's don't be distracted by the light show there, Julie.
Be careful out
But
there.
it's like, when you're driving in the rain and suddenly there's a huge clap of lightning and thunder, that freaks me out still.
I hate driving in the rain.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Who wants to drive with strobe lights going on? So just keep it here and keep your eyes on the road and keep focused, and we'll be fine. We'll get through this together. 7:05, Matt Schlapp will join us on the ACU ratings for Congress. And then at 7:35, Hans von Spakovsky, all things election law. Right now, though, Julie Gunlockwe is joined by our favorite bon vivant. He is Cal Thomas. Cal, good morning.
Good morning, Larry, and welcome back from your fact-finding trip. You know that lightning could be the judgment of God on D.C., which I now think stands for dysfunctional city. What do you think of that?
I like it very much, sadly, except I find it easier for you to say. You don't have to live here anymore.
We got our own lightning down here in Miami.
Cal, the president announced yesterday that he received a letter saying that he is a target of Jack Smith's case on January 6th. And say what you will, and I know you have said what you will about President Trump's words and behaviors on January 6th. Many Americans looking at this would say, listen, we had the J6 committee. They put everything out there that they had. And now here we are nearly 3 years after the fact. And now they're going to bring Donald Trump under criminal charges right as he's in the midst of a presidential election. That smacks of politics, not justice.
Yes, it does. You're absolutely right. And I think it just, you look at the numbers, he's so way ahead now in the primary. There's nobody even closest. The closest is Ron DeSantis, and he's laying off people. So that ought to tell you something.
Yeah.
The problem, of course, Larry, I mean, we have to look at this without rose-colored glasses. I don't think he can win the general election. You've got to have independents, which is the largest single political group out there, and suburban women. He was losing them in the last election, and I think that was the margin of difference. All of this other stuff is just curtains being hung around Donald Trump. I just think that, yes, it's political, but yes, he has some responsibility in here. I think it's going to be very difficult under the First Amendment, to get him for what he said on January 6th at that speech outside.
Right.
He just
it's absolutely going to be difficult. But that's the point. They know that. They don't care because they are trying to hurt him politically. This is their way. And I get it, Cal, but I just want to pause for a moment. Because when you say, of course this is political, there needs to be a full stop there. Because, of course, this is political, but kind of concedes the fact is, sure, the Justice Department and a special counsel and the FBI and federal law is being used as a political weapon against the leading opponent of the president. But, he's got to win suburban women. No but here, Cal. I mean, the fact is you just conceded that the Justice Department is being used as a political weapon.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out more today, thankfully, when these two whistleblowers, including a Mr. X, who were inside, at least one of them inside on the whole Hunter Biden thing. We're about to find out if all of these Democrat claims that no one is above the law is in fact true.
Thank you. These
are men who are going to testify that they were told not to involve themselves, not to answer questions from the duly elected members of Congress. I'm looking at a story right here in the Daily Mail, which along with the New York Post reports better than the Washington Post. That doesn't take much. FBI told Hunter Biden investigator to avoid Congress's questions on police probes into First Son's taxes, drugs, and gun. I mean,
that sure sounds like obstruction of justice, Cal.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're going to just see the Democrats defend on this one. It ought to really be quality entertainment, much better than you're getting at Disney these days with the 7 used-to-be dwarfs.
Yeah, but Cal, I think I'm not so different from most people who watch these hearings. Yet another whistleblower is coming forward to confirm that, the DOJ is corrupt, right? And then what happens? What is going to happen? We hear certain members of the House say, "Oh, we're going to cut their funding. Oh, they're not going to get any money for a new headquarters. Oh, we're going to do this and that." But then nothing really happens. What can the House do?
because everybody has something on somebody else in Washington, unfortunately. Hardly anybody goes to jail. Nothing is really going to happen until we have a change in administrations and a Republican comes in and absolutely cleans house. It's not the agents. The agents themselves are great. It's the hierarchy. It's the political appointments. It's the people who are in the pocket of everybody from Bill and Hillary and all of their scandals to the Obamas and now to the Biden family. And the circle just gets wider and wider and wider. So it's not going to change until they come in and literally clean house from top to however far down they need to go. Again, not the agents, but it's the administrators.
Yeah. Cal Thomas is our guest. By the way, his book is A Watchman in the Night, where he details his career covering politics here in the nation's capital. And it's another presidential election ahead of us now. And we saw last weekend a pretty impressive display of Tucker Carlson going one-on-one with a bunch of the candidates in Iowa without Donald Trump in attendance. And then Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA had an event down near you in West Palm Beach where Ron DeSantis didn't show up. At this point, shouldn't all the candidates show up at all of these things if they want? I understand DeSantis was concerned that it was a very pro-Trump group. But guess what? If he wants to win, he needs to convert those pro-Trump people.
Well, that's a good point. And, of course, the big one, the first one, is August 23rd, which Fox is sponsoring. You've got a so-called town hall with Hannity and Trump tomorrow night, I think it is, or maybe it's tonight.
I think it might be.
And, so it's coming along, but it's still early. Anything can happen. It usually does. You've been around long enough, Larry. You know who's been ahead for hundreds of points, 50 points, and then all of a sudden when the voters show up, they don't like it, and so they don't. The leader is no longer the leader.
Exactly.
Giuliani was the leader for a while. Hillary was going to win the election. All kinds of people were way out in front, but you got to wait till the votes are counted.
Yeah. I was just going to say, just ask President Jeb Bush, President Rudy Giuliani, and President Phil Gramm. Remember when Phil Gramm was going to be the guy?
Gramm, wow.
Yep.
Phil Gramm.
See, this is why you have older people on the show, Julie, to remember these things.
I don't. I prefer to be referred to as a co-watchman in the night.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. You can't have part of my advance.
I was going to say. Thank you, Cal. Always good to talk to you, my friend. Take care.